She's an oncology patient. For the 6 weeks that she'd been in hospital that time, she hadn't interacted with anybody. She just became introverted, withdrawn, and she sat in the same room as us when we were doing some mucking around with another kid and entertaining another very bouncy child who was also an oncology patient. And for the first time in her 6 weeks in hospital, this young girl actually joined in for the very first time. Her mother thought that was an absolute milestone in her dealing with what she has processed, which is really important. And you see she's very proud of whatever it is that she made there. I'm not sure what it was, she wasn't sure what it was, but the point was she participated. It was really important. So that's some of our customers, and there's some more of our customers. And this is what some people say about us. This was a bit more flowery, this quote, when it first came out, but I've just, with her permission, I've modified it a little. Radio Lollipop is not a frilly add-on. There are a couple of other adjectives in there. It is really helpful clinically. A calm child recovers better. Now that was from Madeline, and every member of staff and parent and child think it is fantastic. That's from Madeline Ismark, who's the head of psychosocial services at Great Ulhman Street Hospital for Children in London. Now, Great Ulhman Street is arguably the preeminent children's hospital in the world. We went into Great Ulhman Street 24 years ago, operated for a number of years, then they said, we can do this and we can do it better. They threw us out. They came back 10 years ago and said, we can't do this, can you come back and do it again, please? So we did. And there was no space, and so we set up a studio in a courtyard that was disused, and we craned in a tube train carriage. So that's in there, the studio is set up in. So we have a station in a carriage, which is kind of inverted if you think about it. And it works very well. Our vision: we want to deliver the Radio Lollipop services to sick children and young people anywhere, anytime. And with today's technology, that's not just an unrealisable, idle, big vision for the sake of it. It is actually realisable. You think about the internet, you think about Skype, you think about tablet computers, those sorts of things. That is very realisable, and it's something we're working on. Our track record: we've been around for more than 33 years as a volunteer organisation. We operate now in 5 countries, soon to be 6. South Africa's coming online. Hopefully this year. It's been 4.5 years of wading through wet cement over there, but we're nearly opening in Cape Town. Very exciting. In that time, we've had over 10,000 volunteers come through. We've helped, probably, you'd think, conservative estimate, 4.7, nearly 5 million sick children directly. We've reached over, they've all got family, so you do the multiples, and it's roughly 15 million people that we think we've dealt with directly worldwide. The evidence for what we do at CHOP, which is Children's Hospital Orange County, some recent research said that after the Radio Lollipop activity, children reported a significant decrease in overall anxiety, with the greatest reduction coming in the area of worry. The analysis of this, they do these faces scores, where it's happy face, smiley face, indifferent face, all that sort of stuff. They revealed a significant reduction in perceived pain after the program, and on 1/3 of the children using narcotic medications prior to the program had a reduction in dosages in the 24 hours after the program. This is a common theme. Basically, if you're interested and you're having fun, you forget the pain. And that, if you're a child, that works, and if you're a geriatric, that works, and if you're anywhere in between, that works. Basically, if you can take your mind off the pain, you don't need the painkiller. Basically, it's very simple. And both parent and child satisfaction with the program was high. It was slightly disappointing for us because it was only 4.77 out of 5. We wanted to have 5 out of 5, but never mind. In Princess Margaret Hospital in Perth, a 1992 study by some postgraduate students over there showed that over a 2-week period, a reduction in the request for painkilling drugs of 82%. So there's that painkilling drug thing happening. It's really fascinating statistic. And to confirm that again, slightly differently, at the Mater 21 years ago when we opened, 21 years ago this year. Those photographs, by the way, that Karen had up there were of our 21st birthday party, which was held earlier this year. And it was a fun night. It was a very big cake too. But in Brisbane, in the first year, the Mater reported saving over $400,000 in unadministered painkilling drugs. Now, that's 21 years ago. Put the multiples into that. I don't know what that's worth this year. So, 600, maybe $700,000 if you put the factored in all the bits and pieces, cost of living and all that. $400,000. That's $400,000 that can go on nurses. That's $400,000 that can go on new beds. It's $400,000 that can go on machines that go ping or whatever else that they can spend $400,000 on. But with a health department or with and a health system like ours, every $400,000 or whatever the multiple is today is very valuable. We can use it elsewhere. So we do make a clinical and an economic difference to the hospitals that we operate in. A brief history. Started in 1979 at Queen Mary's Hospital in Carshalton in Surrey, originally as a one-off project. We've since moved into a network of hospitals in the UK, and today we're an international organisation working in 26 hospitals. We actually opened up 33 stations, but over the years you have people come in and they say we can do it better. We just wait, they come back to us. So we're back at 26 because they do come back. So we're 26 hospitals around the world, including Australia, New Zealand, the United States, UK, and soon, as I said, South Africa. South Africa and Spain. Spain is interesting. They want us in Barcelona, or Barcelona, as they say. It's a little difficult because Spain is on its knees, as you know, economically, but they're still pressing us to do it because an interesting thing that happens when you have economic downturn, volunteerism kind of goes up. So it's a little phenomenon that always amuses me. And we're also dealing with requests that should read 50 now hospitals in the USA. We've also got Canada, Mexico, and I've just had to say no to one from France, which is a bit unfortunate. Over the years, Lollipop has established our own training courses for volunteers and specific roles for post holders. It's quite an ordered organisation. Because we're dealing with children, because we're dealing with clinical conditions, everything we do is very, very ordered and controlled. It has to be. Along the way, we've produced, and just as an aside, we've produced a unique collection of children's music and jingles, which is arguably the largest in the world. So it's about 33 years of just adding to our pile. We run a thing called the Sustaining Service via the internet out of London, which goes to every Lollipop station around the world. At any point in time, you can plug in and turn it on, and you'll have some children's programs playing. That loop goes for something like, I believe, 6 hours before it starts again. So it's not a bad collection of stuff, just continues. No announcing, just loop, loop, thing to thing to thing. Pardon me. So that's a very large collection. The status of the organisation is 10 in the UK, 3 stations. This notion of satellites we pioneered here in Australia, I'll come back to that later on. Well, we've got 3 major stations, that's Mater, Gold Coast and Princess Margaret in Perth. We've got 5 satellites that operate as well. There's a satellite here in Logan, and there's a number of satellites, Joondalup and Kalgoorlie operates as a satellite, and 1 play program. We were invited to put a play program into Children's Hospital, Royal Children's Hospital in Randwick in Sydney, and we've been running that for a year. We trained them how to do it. They're using all our gear, which is interesting. New Zealand, there's 2 stations with plans, and 2 satellites and plans for another 2 stations. Unhappily, we've got a long way down the road in Christchurch, but obviously that's just been put aside. USA, we have 3 stations. We're in Florida, we're in Texas, and we're in Los Angeles. So it's Miami, Houston, Los Angeles, and as I said, 50 others who want us one day, hopefully. South Africa, about to happen, fingers crossed. And I haven't added them, but there's also France, as I said, no. Germany's come to us, Canada, Mexico, and possibly even India. We'll see. Spain is a work in progress, but we've slowed it down because if you can slow